Welcome to the stream. This is Justin with zZounds, and I have a very, very special stream today. This is with Gamechanger pedals, and man, Gamechanger Audio, they are just doing some absolutely fantastic stuff. These pedals are like nothing else in the industry and have been for years now, so I'm very excited to show you guys these pedals. I mean that when I say that these pedals, nothing does quite what these do, and you will see that once we kind of do a dive into them. But before I get ahead of myself there, we have a chat open as well. Feel free to comment as usual or send me a chat just to say hey, or if you want any specific tones, then give a shout out. I got the chat pulled up here. And let's dive in though, guys. I got so much to cover. I'm getting giddy over here trying to get ready to show you guys all these pedals. For starters, let me talk to you about what we have with me today. And I've got the Bigsby pedal right here, which is a snazzy pitch shifter. It also can do a chorus sound, octaver. Citadel Music Group checking in. Hey, awesome. Thanks for coming to the stream. So guys, I have the Bigsby pedal. I have the plasma distortion, and I also have the light pedal, which is the only optical spring reverb that I know of. Let me know if I'm incorrect out there, but I believe this is the only one on the market there, and it is absolutely fantastic. All three of them are fantastic. But let's go dive in. You heard all three pedals earlier in the open of the stream right there. So let's just start with. I'm going to start with the plasma, just because I think that one's super fun and grimy. Let's talk about the plasma pedal. We see it over here in the middle of the pedal setup here, and it's a plasma pedal because of the way it's designed. So check it out. So here's my clean signal here. It's clean with a little bit of the reverb. I'm going to pull the reverb out for now. So there's my clean tone. That is a Vox AC30 amp, and I am running that with a SM57 and an RE 121 microphone, I believe. So a Royer R121. So let's get back to the pedal though. So I got the plasma pedal here, and we'll talk about what it is. It's actually running a xenon-filled tube in the center that you will see manipulated through the current that's going through it. So I'll play something, you'll see it in action. So you can see the signal running through. Check out that gating though. It absolutely is a self-gating system because of its design. Check it out. Minute signal cuts out, boom, it just completely gates. Why? Is because of its design. It's actually converting an actual audio signal basically to a set of impulses there. And through that, it's actually getting sent to a transformer, getting sent to the tube. That's converted into a current. You're actually seeing it go between there, and then it gets converted back into a signal. I could go into more detail, but that's the general overview. It's just a xenon-filled tube carrying the current. We have a voltage knob in the center. That's basically our drive. It's adjusting how much current is actually going through the pedal. So let me show you it. Here's with a kind of right in the center kind of amount of voltage. So I can't stress enough how much the gating is like an important component of this pedal, because it's super sensitive to volume on your guitar or picking dynamics. So even with higher voltage, if I pick light, you get that sputtery, like starved fuzz sound. So it's incredibly sensitive to picking dynamics. And if you roll off, you can actually physically see less voltage between the electrodes in the xenon tube. You see it only sputtering when it has a bit of signal, but otherwise, yeah, check it out. That is a really starved sound. I still got more range on the dial to starve it even more. Super fun. So anyways, if you kind of go meet in the middle there, you can get some really cool effects with manipulating that. So you'll notice all the crackling and buzz from it. That's a product of the current going through the tube. So you get all these really weird and experimental sounds like that. Very, very fun pedal. So let's check out the other settings on the pedal. That's a typical distortion. Besides the blend right here, the blend is going to blend our dry signal back in. So check it out. Full clockwise is full distortion, and somewhere around the middle, that's when you're getting an equal blend of dry and wet. Now you can hear my source tone in there. Makes it a little bit more usable if you don't want that extreme sound. And of course, you can go and put more of the dry in there. And that's kind of fun if you really want to get more extreme sounds, you know, something like this. I kind of liked it because it's like you could put a little bit of that noise element, the crackle, in the background of your tone and kind of bury it in there if you want it to be a little more slick. So very, very fun. So anyways, I'm going to go put the blend back up a little bit higher so it's more distortion. Now let's talk about the EQ. The EQ is amazing, and it's so much wider than a regular guitar EQ is. So you can hit lower lows and higher highs. And it's the way that they interact with each other is pretty fun. So let's check it out. Here's the low rolled all the way off. And then I'm just rolling. So on the top of the dial, you get this huge amount of low end there. So I'm going to go back to the center. Really cool. Now let's check out the high frequency. I really like the way this shelves. So here's it rolled all the way off. You can kind of tame a little bit of that sizzle if you want, but let me show you guys the tone when it's rolled up then. So super sizzly. And then as the voltage knob goes up too, you can further push that. So it's awesome. And when you kind of use those in tandem, you can usually dial in a really, really fun tone. You notice the interaction though, if you shelf the high and the low together, you get really cool combinations you wouldn't expect. So really fun. I love that gating. So anyways, yeah, that's the plasma pedal, and I'm going very quickly through this because we have so much to cover, but I will return back to this and I'm going to pair it with some of the other effects. But that is the plasma pedal in a nutshell. Beautiful design, worked really well with actually bass that I fed through it because the low frequency EQ is so usable. Bass works really well with this, as well as other instruments you can feed through it, keyboards, synths, drums, things like that. Really fun for just like a noise box, just mangling signals. It's really, really good at that, but also usable. So let's move on to the next pedal, the light pedal. And this one, if I had to pick a favorite child, this would be my favorite child right now. So this one is an incredible optical reverb design. And so what that is it's a actual reverb tank in this pedal, but it also has a set of infrared optical sensors that will also pick up further detail along the length of the springs. So what you get is this crazy combination of sounds from an internal reverb tank, a real spring tank in there, with the optical sensors in conjunction, or just the other, both. So you get crazy combinations. So let's go check this guy out. So the light pedal, when you turn it on, you can see this. It's just such a cool pedal. So you can see the springs reverberating right there, and I'll give you guys an idea of what that sounds like, just like this. I'm going to show you just the spring tank sound. So there's that. And because it's a spring tank, you can actually adjust the drip or, kind of like full-on wet, like Fendery spring reverb tank style with the drive knob. That's actually adjusting how much signal is getting sent into the spring tank. So if you crank up the drive, you get like maximum drip on that. So nice. It's a very, very beautiful sound. You can, of course, dial it back. I've got it pretty wet right now. Really great sound. So that's the spring sound. Let's go to the optical setting. And right away, when you notice me adjust the optical knob, check out what happens with the internal view of the pedal. Right now, you see the actual optical sensors turning on. So I am in optical mode right now. If you look at the optics mode, optical is going to cycle through this, and you'll notice that the light will kind of spread across it as the control knob is moved. So look, you can see it at the bottom. Now it's moving towards the top side, and you'll get different types of effects based on which part of the spring is being read by the optical sensor. Really cool. So you'll notice that you get different tones from that. So let me show you what the optical sounds like by itself. And in case you guys, I'm going quickly, but in case you guys noticed, if you look across the left, those are all just blend knobs. The dry signal, just the spring sound, just the optical sound. So here's optical cranked, and this is what this will sound like. Actually, let me pull out the dry so you get just the optical, because you guys might be, well, what the hell is the optical sound? I don't know what that sounds like. So check it out. That's the optical tone by itself. Really ghostly. So this is the spring getting fed back in now. You can hear the brightness of the spring tank right there come in and kind of help out that optical sound. Really cool. And then finally the dry getting blended back in. Really fun sound there if you want that. But again, the control knob, you guys have seen me fiddling with the control knob over on the right-hand side. That's going to be kind of a more of like a function knob. Based on what setting you're at, you're going to get different types of changes in the tone via the control knob. So I'll show you what I mean. Let's move over to the sweep setting up here. So we're going to sweep. Boom, you see the optical going crazy over here, sweeping across the length of the spring. And so check it out. Really cool. It's like it's just really rich. Especially if you guys heard this in the room, it's just crazy. So let me dial in like a more reasonable tone right here. And so just really musical. Just really musical with that. So if you adjust the drive, once again, that's kind of feeding the drive signal and the amount of going to the spring tank, so you get various degrees of grit in this sound there. So I like that. To kind of finish my point from earlier, though, the control knob is going to adjust the speed. So check it out. Look, you'll notice you can get crazy fast pulses with that same sweep mode. slowing it down to maybe just a faster one. It's really rich sounding though. So love it. Now, since we got just so much to go over, let's move on to the trem setting. Similar approach from before. And once again, these are all optical settings I'm going through. The top 3 are the optical. So check it out. The trem, as you would expect, this is going to give a trem type sound to our circuit. So, and let me show you what that's going to sound like. A little bit harder to discern than the sweep mode, but let me show you guys with the dry and the spring taken out. This is just the optical, so you can kind of hear this by itself. You'll see what it's doing. Then you can really hear the pronounced kind of trem sound there. All right, and then here, let's bring back in some of the dry. This one's one of the more usable settings at low amounts, in case you wanted to have just like a very classic sounding like trem with some reverb in there. So really pretty sound. And once again, if you introduce the reverb back in, you can start stacking the spring tank reverb with that. And let me do a little less, be a little bit more dry. Love this one. This one's really fun. I can get lost in this one for a while. So that is the trem mode. And again, the control knob, you're going to notice it changes the speed. So here's with the much slower trem speed. So again, here's what that'll sound like, this one. So you can adjust those speeds there. So. And I really like the sound of that one too. Lovely, lovely. So let's go down to the next 3 modes. These are very cool down here. These are going to enter into the other alternative modes that it has. First of which is the reflect mode, which is really, really awesome because what it's actually doing is it's reflecting the signal multiple times through the spring tank. So you actually get kind of like a lo-fi delay of sorts. It's super fun. Check it out. I actually really like this one a lot. So you're hearing that in action right there. Let's adjust the control knob. Once again, the general control knob. That's going to adjust the speed. So yeah, based on where you got the drive set at, you can get these really grimy delays. Let's mess with this. So I like that one a lot. That's a fun one. So again, if you adjust the drive, you can get some really, really lo-fi sounding delays. And the way it splits apart as it's interacting with the reverb tank is really fun. Love it. It's really ghostly and great. So now we have more settings, though, of course. Now, if you go to the next setting that we have up in the top setting, it's a feedback. And I love this one because it's kind of mayhem. It starts self-oscillating, as you would expect from a feedback circuit. And so you can get some really weird, like I was jokingly saying it was like my horror movie soundtrack when I was at home, the way I could manipulate the feedback circuit. So check it out. All right, so if you really want to go full on pulling out the dry entirely, then you start getting some really, really convincing stuff. Now, go to the drive, as you'd expect, because it's self-oscillating. It will completely run out of control, so be careful with the settings you're using, but I'm going to self-oscillate it on purpose right now so you guys can hear it. So again, could get lost in this one for a while. You have a lot of room to experiment with it, but it does actually kind of show some really interesting tones when you mess with the control knob, because it's going to change that fundamental frequency there. Check it out. So again, check out what the control knob does to it. So love it. Love that it cycles through the different kind of tones based on what optical sensor is being enacted. You're hearing all those pings when it hits different frequency nodes across the spring. That's really cool. Anyways, that's the feedback mode. Absolutely loved that one. Let's go to the last one. All right, this is harmonic mode. And as you'd expect, it's going to be the same deal where you're going to access different harmonics for it in this mode and get kind of like these upper order harmonics that are really cool. So let's check it out so you guys can hear what it sounds like. And I'm going to cycle through the control knob. The way they describe it is it's like a shimmer reverb. The best way they can describe it, it's like a shimmer. So it accesses different harmonic content to get that weird, rich kind of tone there. So check it out. And if you blend that in, you can get different interesting results with how it's getting stacked there. And increasing the drive. Really fun. You can do all sorts of weird sounds with this one. And so, yeah, I mean, I kind of went through these pretty quickly, but I'm still running long. But that's the light pedal right there. I still have yet to address the bottom two knobs, but they are just a tone for the wet signal. You saw me manipulating that earlier to brighten up the tails. And then we have a gate there, which is really fun. It actually is exactly how you'd expect. To the left of center, it's actually going to gate the sound. So more reverb as you pick harder. Once you stop playing, it immediately gates it and chops off the tail, so it won't just ring for forever like you've been hearing me do. If you go to the right, that's actually a duck, so it ducks the reverb underneath your picking dynamics. So the louder you pick there, it will actually subdue the reverb to allow you to kind of gate underneath it like that, to duck it. So there's one more part of the pedal that's cool. You can stack different settings together. So how about this? Let's go to the sweep mode. I really like the sweep mode. And let me find something I like. I think that tone's probably pretty good right there. Okay, you can combine the top optical modes with the bottom modes if you just hold the foot switch. I believe if you just hold the foot switch and then move it down to one of the other settings, it will combine those two together. So if you move the knob, it goes back. But let me combine the sweep with, let's do the reflect mode. So. All right, now we've got both of those combined, so. And then more dry blend in there. So cool. And then again, yeah, you can pull out, you know, some of the optical, less optical, more spring. Let's do less spring, more optical. Here, that sounds like. Cool. Super cool pedal. I can mess with this thing for forever. As you can see, there's just so much deep content in here, especially when you're able to blend settings. So it's really cool. But anyways, that is the light pedal. It's absolutely one of my all-time favorite reverbs we've ever done here. It's very fascinating, and it's infinitely kind of tweakable, but also you can get usable reverb tones out of it easily. So let's go to the last one. We got one more to cover. I got the Bigsby pedal down here. And the Bigsby pedal is really fun because it is exactly what you expect. If you see it, it's just got that actual kind of Bigsby arm on it, and it's a pitch shifter. So it's going to pitch down, but also up, which most people aren't expecting. But you can pitch down like this. And let's go pair it back with the light pedal here. We'll go back to a little spring reverb sound there. So really just smooth, and the spring tension on it is hard enough that it's not like the minute you touch it, it's like all the way toe down. Actually, there's a lot of resistance. You can get those really subtle changes in between. Check it out. But if you want to, you can go more extreme, do a toe down frequency. So it's really, really cool, but it also, like I said, it also goes up. Which also I thought was pretty fun to like really mess around with that. So this pedal is surprisingly much deeper than you'd think it was. It's not all that it does. It has these spin wheels on there, and you'll notice that it is basically like a rate, a depth, and another like pitch portion on the right wheel. But there's also, oops, heard the reverb tank move there when I actually hit the table. There's also sub functionality where you can adjust the tone, you can adjust the amount of detune on it, you can adjust the rate that it moves at. I'm going to get to that all in a second, but this pedal's pretty deep. So let's go to the knob on the right. I want to show you guys how to adjust the pitch real fast. The knob on the right that you can see slightly illuminated, that's what's going to dictate the pitch that's going down or up. So let me show you what I mean. I'm going to adjust it now for you. So as you roll the wheel off, there's nothing, no light lit, and that means that we are no pitch changes. Doesn't matter where it's set, it won't do anything. But as you roll up, you notice that the light starts gently illuminating until it gets to a quarter step, and that's the first moment, the quarter step there is when it's barely lit. So you can do little subtle changes in pitch. I'll show you. Oops, a little further. So it's barely noticeable, but it's there. And then when we get to half step mode, that's where we get the most fun out of it, I think. So I don't know if you guys caught that, but there's a blink that happens really quickly. That's when you know you're in that first half step. So you'll notice the toe down frequency is 1/2 step lower than that. So the half step interval is when it blinks. So it's really helpful if you want an actual... I love that one because it's like, it's the most like kind of rockabilly sounding, you know, like just that kind of... You slam a Bigsby arm, it usually ends up being somewhere around a half step, so you can get super musical stuff. And when you go further from that, that's when you start getting intervals of additional half steps on the dial that it will detune the pitch further by. So every time it blinks, it's now moved another half step. So if you're like, oh, I want a minor third lower, just wait for it to blink twice more, and you'll get that same interval. So it's actually really handy. So check it out. So that was 2 more blinks, and then... So that's a little whole step right now. So... Really cool. And then again, it goes further from there. It can go all the way down to an octave lower, which is awesome. I have the pedal calibrated a little differently. I think mine's more of a minor 7th at the top of the dial. than a full octave, but you can set it to a full octave down for like bass stuff. Check it out. And the tracking's really awesome on it. You can do cool, like really low pitch shift stuff if you want to do that for the guitar too. So it's fun, but we were kind of joking around earlier that you get that like nu metal tone if you're really putting like maybe the plasma pedal with the pitch shifted down like a bass. So check it out, you can get stuff like this. God, I love that gate. But that's it. That's the kind of octave down tricks you could do with that. And of course, for leads, super fun if you do the octave up effects as well, because everybody loves an octave up effect with distortion. So let's talk about that. The pedal easily changes the up frequency by just pressing that. You'll see that small select button on the left. I don't know if you can see that, but that's the button that changes to the red menu, and that's going to be the up frequency. So again, we can adjust it from there. So check it out. I'm not sure where it's set right now, so let's hear it. It looks like it's just shy of an octave. It's a minor 7. So you could do all your Tom Morellos to your heart's content if you feel like it. But it's kind of a little bit not quite as easy to push the up frequency sometimes for me if I'm like on the fly. So what you could do is you could actually invert the pedal direction with a switch on the front so that now this part of the pedal becomes the up frequency, so you can make it more comfortable. So check it out. It's right there. And you'll notice the LEDs blink. Now it's in up mode right here. So you could really mess around with that and get like some octave stuff. So why not something like this? Let's throw in the light pedal. Love it. You could do some bizarre, cool sounds, especially when you get the voltage set lower. Starve it a bit. Man, oh man, is it fun. Love it. So really cool. You're getting a lot of grime from the light pedals tails there. So just so you guys know that it's not any distortion that the Bigsby is adding. It's just the amount of drip that I've got and drive set on the light pedal. So anyways, let's go to some other functionality because I'm running short on time here. The Bigsby can do other things like a chorus effect, which I loved because it's just clever. You could just pitch shift maybe down by just a half step and then blend in the dry signal with the center knob. That's a blend. And then boom, you got a great chorus that's honestly better than most dedicated chorus pedals. That's how kind of cool it is when you could do it organically with pitch shifting like this. So let me show you how to do that. You just got to pull out the, just pull down to maybe a quarter step out or half step out and then put the dry blend in, and it's easy to dial in. So as you move the pedal then, oops, let me turn off the plasma. As you turn on, oh, whoops, I got it backwards. Hold on, sorry guys. Keep forgetting I'm in down mode. All right, so if you blend in that, you can already hear it. It sounded like a chorus, but let me reduce the amount that it's pitch shifting, and it should make it sound a lot smoother. All right, so right there. Now you got foot control over the amount of chorus that you're getting. It's beautiful. And you can do that with just 2 quick turns of the knob, and you got a really great chorus. And as I said, if you push the pedal down harder, you can get further amounts of warble. And of course, adjust the rate knob too. If you want to adjust the rate, it's an easy way to activate the low frequency oscillator it has in there. It has its own LFO. You can adjust the pitch, the rate at which it warbles. So check it out. So you can see it blinking with an LED on the left. So now we're really starting to get some actual chorus sounds. Check it out. So same kind of playing thing I was doing earlier, but with the LFO engaged. Really cool, just really great. And again, it goes faster, slower, but so much buried in this pedal. You can also do a variety of other effects by doing the dry blend in there. So once again, you can hear the source tone in there as the pitch is getting changed. So you can make interesting sounds with that. Let's see what this sounds like. It should be pretty grimy, but so you see it cycling between those two. So again, see, this is just me kind of being like, oh, let me put the plasma over that sound and see what I get. Infinitely experimentable. So fun. This one's great. It feels actually pretty legitimate in terms of just the feel of the pedal. So there's other features like the detune that simulates kind of the inherently flawed intonation of a Bigsby system. So you can actually adjust how much it detunes, just like a classic Bigsby. Which is awesome feature to have. But otherwise, there's so much more I can do with this. You can have a MIDI syncing on that to access 10 presets for it. There's so much more functionality. I'm using this as an expression pedal for the light pedal right now too. So as I dip the switch there, it's actually adjusting parameters on the light pedal. It's hard to hear unless you knew what to listen for, but I have been controlling the light pedal concurrently with the Bigsby via the expression output. You could also use a foot switch with it as well. Any amp foot switch should be able to work with this, and it can turn it from latch mode to a momentary type switch where, you know, you can just be holding your foot switch and create a momentary effect versus a latch. So you can click it and have it be maybe an octave down and hold it so that you don't have to sit there slamming down on the Bigsby pedal for the an octave down riff the whole time. You could just use a foot switch and engage it. So much more extra function you could use these for. They're all fantastic. There's sub functions on them I did not get to, but we are running very over. I promised myself I wouldn't do more than 45, and we're at 44 minutes right now, so I'm going to call it here, guys. Let me just do a really spazzy, grimy last one, which is a bunch of noise, and kind of putting these pedals through their paces, and then we'll call it a day. But thanks so much for everybody who tuned in. I'm Justin with zZounds, and this is Gamechanger audio pedals. The plasma distortion, the light pedal, optical spring reverb, and then the Bigsby pitch shifter pedal. All of them are absolutely fantastic. Please check it out at zZounds. We do sell all of these and more of the Gamechanger lineup of pedals. So please check out our site. They are fantastic, truly changing the game. They are not lying when they say that. I had an absolute joy playing these. So thanks for tuning in, guys. Thanks so much, guys. Have a good one. Thanks for tuning in to zZounds Live.